Riley KJ, how does Darren defend against the constant racist insult? So a lot of your positions can easily be, um, you know, characterized in an Antifa type of belligerence as racism. I mean, that's the big, um, you know,
Mhm.
weapon that Antifa as a cultural movement holds, is that anything that's opposed to Antifa is racist.
Mhm. Right. Well, I mean, that's just what it is. It's interesting how the question is formulated. The racist insult. I mean, it's an insult. It's like, how do you do, one dimension you can say, well, you take it like any other insult. You take it like someone calls you a moron, an idiot, stupid, ugly. How do you take it as somebody, it's just an insult without real content. It's an insult that's loaded with a lot of moral valence that's used as a very effective instrument to control people, precisely because there's that social control mechanism. People are terrified of being called racist, and in particular, white people are terrified of being called racist. And so, another kind of dimension, another possible answer is to say it's like it's a very peculiar feature of this inverted moral universe that we live in, where like being a quote unquote racist is the worst possible thing you can be. It's like it's in some ways worse reputationally than being a murderer, being a thief, being disloyal. Like you can think of a panoply of horrible things you can be. And it's kind of weird that we exist in this moral universe in which being a racist is like the ultimate evil, like the summum malum. And I would kind of question the health of a system in which being quote unquote racist is the worst thing. It's an inverted moral universe, and so I think in some ways it's like, you can resist the racist claim, and it is a joke, it is an insult, it is used to control, but also you can ask, like, assuming someone is a racist, is that really the worst thing in the world? Is that worse than being a murderer? Is that worse than being a thief? Is that worse than being a child molester? Is that, and so people's just terror of this word and being called this word, and the lengths that people will go to, one could argue even the length of sitting back and watching while one's country is destroyed, while one's history is erased, and while one's destiny is desecrated, all to avoid being called this one word. And so I like to just say, as a thought experiment, and again, I get racial because the term
So
race,
watch your language. Don't use any
right,
bad language.
I
Don't.
get
I know the word.
racial because the term is used as a racial weapon. And so I say, just imagine a universe.
Watch the word.
I
Watch the
know.
word.
Imagine a country in which white people were not scared of being called racist.
Oh, that's
What
horrible.
would it look like?
I thought you were gonna use the example that you used in July in our first one, which wasn't an offensive word. Your point then was, could Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk endure if they called somebody a foul, racist name?
Right, right,
Would,
right.
would, could their careers and their reputations and their prestige, would it stay intact if they were to use such
Right,
racist language?
right, right. The other kind of just funny, like if people have been in ethics class or philosophy class, there are these just totally vapid things called trolley experiments, meant to kind of tease out our latent ethical intuitions. And I had a kind of mock trolley experiment that gets to this same point, which is that, imagine you're, in a train, in a trolley, and it's set on the tracks to run over, one of the greatest countries in the world and just destroy the country metaphorically, or just run over a bunch of children. And the only way to switch the tracks would be to scream a racial epithet, the worst racial epithet I think people can imagine what it is. The only way to switch the trolley to the clean tracks rather than run over a bunch of kids or destroy a country is to shout, this racist slur. Would you do it? and just kind of that I think is sort of a humorous, off the wall example. But again, it's meant to get at this point that it's weird that we live in this country where, like, in the whole constellation of bad things one can do or be, somehow being quote unquote racist the summa malum, and that this term and this inverted morality is used to control people in such a profound and deep way.